Know what to eat, but find yourself not eating it. Perhaps you've been on diets and off again and just wonder why you can't stick to them. The Eating For You podcast, hosted by me, Sally Ann Pisk, will show you what's been missing so you can enjoy a healthier way of eating that lasts. Hi, Sally Ann back with you today, and in this episode I'm exploring emotional comfort and stress eating. Whilst I have many conversations with ladies who are already aware that they have non-hunger eating habits, some ladies haven't realised that the very reason why they can't stick to their diet or a healthy way of eating long term is because of an underlying non-hunger eating habit. First up, I just want to explain that emotional eating habits often arise in response to stress or soothing emotions through boredom or reward. Food plays a role in both celebrations and comfort situations. 5 common signs that you might have an emotional or non-hunger eating habit are that even though you want to eat healthier, you just can't stick to it. You might have a sudden urge to eat certain foods, or you find that food is your cure for everything. You feel guilty after eating and often eat past satiety. So I'm now going to take each one of these common signs and just explore it a little bit more deeply so it makes sense in your day-to-day life. Do you wake up every day with the intention of sticking to your diet or eating healthier today, but by lunch, afternoon or evening, you realise that you haven't been able to put this intention into practice? And when you go to bed at night, the last thing you say to yourself, tomorrow will be different, I'll stick to it tomorrow. But one of the reasons why it might be difficult for you to actually stick to your goals is because of a non-hunger eating habit. And this might be due to boredom, stress, or reward. It is possible that you haven't been aware of these habits up until now because you've been focused on changing the food in your fridge, pantry, and freezer and not been aware of the reasons for eating. Frequent visits to the kitchen, looking for food, or ordering home delivery outside mealtimes are also signs that you might be reaching for food for non-hunger reasons. Our emotional eating triggers checklist will help you to identify whether you have developed this habit, and I've provided a link in this episode's notes. This is a free resource that you are most welcome to download. Eating for non-hunger reasons comes up quickly. All of a sudden, you have the urge to eat certain foods, whether that be chocolates, cakes, biscuits, ice cream, chips, or those other foods that you crave. We all have our list of comfort foods, but physical hunger is different. Physical hunger comes on slowly. We pick up on our unique signals. They can be a little bit different in each of us. And so what can be helpful is referring to a hunger satiety scale. In the Eating For You approach, we use a scale from 1 to 5, where 1 is when you're feeling really hungry and 5 is when you've reached over fullness. The benefit of these hunger and satiety signals, they help us to recognize the feelings of fullness, but most importantly, that point at which you no longer feel hungry but don't feel full. That's what I call you've just had enough and it feels good. Many of the ladies that I work with in our Foundations Mindful Eating program say that they've never really tuned into hunger and satiety, so it can be a really big revelation for them. And it is a core part of the mindful eating practice because it helps you to identify why you're actually eating. The other big difference is that when we're physically hungry, we're more interested in eating foods that are going to nourish us and sustain our energy levels after eating. But of course, the most important signal when you're seeking out food and start eating is that sense of control over what you eat, how much you eat, and when you stop eating. Many of the ladies I work with say to me, Sally Ann, I just want to take control of food rather than feeling like it has control of me. So, if you would like additional information about how the Foundation's Mindful Eating program transforms non hunger eating habits, then you're most welcome to join me in a free 45-minute call. And the link to book a call has been provided in this episode's notes. Maybe without realizing it, food has become your cure for everything. Our relationship with food starts well before we're born. We're reliant on whatever our mums eat while we're in utero. And then as infants, we again are reliant on the food. And if we're breastfed or bottle fed, we don't know whether we got the bottle or the breast because we were crying or whether we were hungry. So, this connection with food and being nurtured and soothed by food starts in our very early years. So, up until the age of 10, we're developing all of these relationships with food and making sense in our mind of the role that food plays in our life. I recall that when I was growing up, if I fell over, and I often did because I was a child running around outdoors quite a lot, if I fell and hurt myself, I would get a sweet treat. So, as a child, we often receive food to soothe. So, it's no wonder when we're a teenager and an adult, these habits continue and evolve. So, we learn when we're quite young that food is a cure for everything. There's no blame here. Our family and carers do the very best to look after us as children. It's only in recent years we've started to understand the connections between the mind and body in our eating habits. Perhaps you have a sense of guilt after eating, but I just want to remind you eating is a totally natural and essential activity. We need to eat food to survive. In addition, there is absolutely nothing wrong with enjoying food. In noticing the food, the flavours, the aromas, the textures, the colours, this is all part of the mindful eating practice. So, if you're picking up on guilt or have negative self talk before, during, or after eating about food or yourself and your eating habits, then this is a really strong indication that you do not have a peaceful or loving relationship with food. And this is something that we focus on in our programs. So, if you'd like to learn more, just remember the offer of that free 45-minute call, and the link to the calendar has been provided. Have you noticed that you often feel full after eating? Perhaps you feel tired or sluggish after finishing your meal, or maybe you have gut issues, bloating, constipation. Emotional eating doesn't always occur through snacking on those highly processed, sweet, fatty, or salty snacks. We can overdo our serve sizes at meal times too. The hunger scale that I mentioned earlier might be something to try. If you now recognize some of the signs of emotional and stress eating in yourself, then I really suggest taking a look at our emotional eating triggers checklist as a starting point. And the link to download this free resource has been provided. However, if you've been aware of non hunger eating habits for a while, then it might be time to consider a different approach to stop these habits. And this is the very reason why I offer the free 45-minute call. In this call, we have time to talk about your eating habits and what you really want to achieve and enjoy for your eating and your health. If in this call I realize I can help you, I will outline a personalized plan to stop the emotional eating habits and show you the path to get those lasting results for your weight and your health. Of course, on the other hand, if I'm not the best person to help you, then I will do my very best to refer you on to someone that can. But just to finish up, I want to reassure you that if you have been struggling with emotional and stress eating, you are not alone. And these habits are just habits and they can be changed. We develop all sorts of habits during our lifetime, and we do this because at that point in time, they're really supportive to us. But some habits have an expiry date, and we miss that expiry date. And when that happens, sometimes we just need a little bit of help to transform them. Thanks for listening, and I look forward to sharing with you again next week. You have been listening to the Eating For You podcast with Sally Ann Pisk. If you are looking for additional support to enjoy a lifelong way of healthier eating, then join me in a free 30-minute call to see if our approach is right for you. I have included the link to book an obligation-free call in this episode's notes.